निधाय हृदि विश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवन्दनं बालानां सुखबोधाय क्रियते तर्कसङ्ग्रहः विश्वेश्वरं साम्बमूर्तिं प्रणिपत्य गिरां गुरुं टीकां शिशुहितां कुर्वे तर्कसङ्ग्रहदीपिकाम्. So in the last class we saw we continued the definition of dravya. And it is still half on the board. Gunasamanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimattvasya vivakshitatvat gunavatvam. That gunavatvam, why, what does he intend is what we clearly saw. Anybody wants to draw the picture of gunasamanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimatvam? You want to draw the picture on the board? Gunasamanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimatvam. Because we are continuing with the Purva Paksha today there in the same thing, there is an Adhikarana. This Adhikaranam is Dravya. Dravyam. This is the Adhikaranam. It is an Adhikaranam for what? For a Gunaha. And there is something called Satta Jati. We saw this in detail last week. What is Satta Jati? Okay. This is Satta Samanya. This is just the general Samanya is called Satta Jati. Satta Bhinna Jati Mattu. Guna Samanadhikarana Satta Bhinna Jati. Some Bhinna Jati. Bhinna, some jati. Jati equal to samanya. Remember that. Jati equal to samanya. Yes, same adhikarana. And in this case, the satta bhinna jati is dravya jati. Dravyatva. Dravyatvam. This is what we discussed in last class. I hope till here it should be clear. Only then the next Purva Paksha and Siddhanta will be understood. Guna samanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimattvasya vivakshitatvat. Okay. Then, so this is the definition of dravya. Whatever we are dealing now is the definition of dravya. As soon as you said gunavatvam, he said gunavatvam will not hold because there is avyapti in the first kshana and utpatti vinashtagata. Also, I have to clarify, I think last two classes I have made this mistake of assuming that in the first kshana of creation, there is agunam akriyancha tishtati, that is correct. Then in the grantha he says utpatti utpanna vinashtagata, he says here. Where Utpanna vinashta ghate. Utpanna vinashta ghate is there. Utpanna vinashta ghata does not mean at the moment of destruction. It means, let us assume that there is a ghata that was created and it was destroyed immediately after the first kshana. In the first kshana, there is no guna or kriya. That is understood. But this was destroyed immediately after that. So it could never have a guna or kriya at all. This dravya, this jar, could at no point in time during its existence, it had a guna or kriya. So then how would you call it a dravya? That is where the definition breaks, is what he asked.
Why do you need to take the meaning of utpanna vinashta gate as this way? Because
it could be taken in many manners, but this is what he intends here.
How do you...
Utpanna vinashta. But by other commentaries, you know. When a teacher is teaching, you know, that's all. When the example is given, you know.
No, the reason why I was thinking about this vinashta part, at that time we tried to apply the same logic. But during vinashta also, at that time either that cause and effect relation if we apply, say during Vinasha, the Ghata will become some particles, let us say.
Just breaks into two you keep. Still you can't call it a Ghata.
Exactly. So now under that case, first which is getting destroyed, either the Guna or this thing, if we see, there as per that logic which you gave, cause has to be there for an effect.
Yeah, Karya Karana Bhava.
So for that case, this Guna has to be lost, and then this is the way I was thinking.
Why Guna has to be lost? No, in the case of destruction, there is no Utpatti. It is not like something is causing. Maybe you can have a hammer that is falling on it or a stone that is falling on it due to which it is breaking. So the falling of the stone is the Karana due to which the pot broke. When the pot breaks, Viyoga happens. The whatever two Kapalas are there, whatever parts of the pot is broken, that's all. So at the moment the pot breaks, the Guna is also gone. The pot is the Adhikarana for the Guna. So pot is the cause for the Guna. Not Guna is not the cause for the pot. That's why we ran into, when we thought that Guna has to go away at the last moment, it is not possible. Because Guna is Karya. Guna is the effect. Pot is the cause. So when the cause gets destroyed, the effect automatically gets destroyed the same moment.
First in, first out.
No, it is not first in, first out. Only in the first, only during creation. See, when something is created, you need the Karana before the Karya. You need the cause before the effect. When the cause itself is destroyed, then the effect naturally gets destroyed along with that. The roots have to first grow for the tree to come. If you pull the roots away itself, the tree will immediately fall. So this is, so only in Utpanna Vinashta Ghata, here Avyapti he said, because for that Utpanna, for that jar, for that Ghata which was just created, there is, in that first Kshana there is no Guna or Kriya, and immediately it is destroyed. So in its whole of its existence, it never had a Guna or a Kriya. Therefore, there is Avyapti in that Dravya also. That was his Purva Paksha, and then we have seen the Uttara Paksha, the Samadhana also we have seen. Okay. So even in that case, this holds that this Dravyam, this Ghata Dravyam that is there, this Ghataha, whatever is here, it still is a Samanadhikarana for Dravyatva Jati, where Guna can also come. So even in that case, this holds in for whatever objections he raised.
Other case, after being broken, the first moment, that is called with the other word, Adhyakshana Avachinna Gate, is it?
For the Adhyakshana Avachinna Gate is first moment of creation, first Kshana when it is created.
Avachinna Gate, is it a district?
No, Avachinna is the limitation.
Okay.
We discussed for the fall Avachinna in Gautam, boundary, that one. So that which is defined as the first Kshana, Lakshada Avacheda, exactly. Okay, that which is bounded by the first Kshana, in that Ghata there is Avyapti. So till here we have finished, Guna Samadhika. So the whole Avyapti objection that the Purva Pakshi raised, we have dealt with it. Now he raises, after this Vivaksha is given, that this is what the author intended, Guna Samanadhikarana Satta Binna Jatimatvam, the opponent raises an Ativyapti objection. Now if you say it is like this, then this definition not only applies to Dravya. Now we have seen this whole thing and seen this definition applies to only Dravyam here. Now he says, no, it does not apply only to Dravyam. I will give you an example sentence, and he proposes a sentence. Ekam Rupam Rasat Prithak. This is his sentence. This is the sentence that he is proposing. Now you see, this Rupa is a Guna. That's why we went through all the 24 Gunas in the last class. So to understand what all Gunas exist. Rupa is a Guna. Ekam is a Guna. Rasa is a Guna. Prithakva is also a Guna. Now what is he saying? He's saying one color is different from taste, is separate from taste. Okay. One color is separate from taste. This is his proposition. Why ativyapti in this? Now let us say Rupa is the adhikarana. We will put the Rupa here. Okay. Rupam is the adhikarana. In this Rupam, there is Ekatva. Ekatva exists in Rupam. So Ekatva.
What do you mean the Ekatva exists?
Ekatva means oneness. One color when you say, where does the one exist? Huh? Everything exists in mind only. Even the Gata exists in mind only. Where does the mind project that existence?
Uniqueness of the
Like, see, red is one color, grey is other color. When you say, what does it mean? When you say there are multiple colors on the board, what do you mean? This is still an objection. We have to understand the Purvapakshi clearly. This is not the Siddhanta. So he is saying the oneness exists in Rupa. Ekatvam Rupe asti. Now as soon as this is given, the definition holds for Rupa also. Satta bhinna jati. When it was only Dravyam, only Dravyatva could happen. Now Satta bhinna jati, Gunatvam is also there, no? Satta bhinna, Gunatvam is also Satta bhinna jati only. So Gunatvam exists here, Ekatvam exists here. So that definition of Guna Samanadhikarana Satta bhinna jati matvam applies to Rupam also. There are only three jatis. Satta bhinna jati, we said no, last time there are only three Satta bhinna jatis. One is Dravyatvam, the other is Gunatvam, the other is Kriyatvam, Karmatvam or Kriyatvam. Kartri is different. Karta is the doer. This is action, not the doer of the action. Karmatvam is better. Anyway, or Kriyatvam also, no problem. So there are only three Satta bhinna jatis. Satta bhinna jati is a collection of all these three basically. And any other jati will be lesser than these three only, will be subsets of these three jatis. Okay. So Satta bhinna jati, there are only three. In the previous definition, when you assumed Dravya to be Adhikarana, that time Guna Samana Adhikarana Satta bhinna jati will apply only for Dravyatvam would have applied. Okay. When you take Rupam as the example and you say Ekatvam exists in Rupam, then this applies for Rupam also. So your definition, Lakshanam, whatever you gave for Dravya, broke down now. Okay. So that is why, if you have idea of what we had in the previous class, then you will be able to follow this clearly. What he is telling, Ativyapti. He is bringing in the charge of Ativyapti now. That it applies to Rupam also. It cannot apply to Rupam because Rupam is a Guna. I am trying to define only Dravyas, Lakshanam only for Dravyas. But it is over applying to Rupam also. Similarly, Prithakva is a Guna. This Prithakva Guna is also existing here. Prithakvam is a Guna. And it is also existing here, the same problem. Like Ekatvam, Prithakvam also exists in Rupam and Gunatvam also exists.
One question here. So when they define Dravyam as Guna Samanadhikarana Satta bhinna jati matvam. Why do they put the terminology in this order? Why not Guna Satta bhinna jati matva Samanadhikaranam, something like this? Is there any reason for following this particular order? Because we are saying that it has to either have Guna or Satta bhinna jati matva.
The Samanadhikarana, you have to join it with Guna only, then the Samasa will make sense. Gunasya Samanadhikaranam Bhavati Satta bhinna jatihi. Bare, if you put it the other way in your Samasa, it will not make sense. You cannot do the Samasa properly. Gunaha kutra asti. Guna Satta bhinna jati mattu Samanadhikaranam, there is no meaning for that.
Satta bhinna jati matva
Samanadhikarana.
Satta bhinna jati matvam Guna Samanadhikaranam. This will it work? Is there any specific rule?
No, there is no specific rule. You will be able, if you make it in the right format, yes, you can change the order. There is no problem with that.
Satta bhinna jati matva Guna Samanadhikarana.
Satta bhinna jati matva Samanadhikarana Gunasya. Like that you have to say. Only then it will make sense.
Why
You can.
Samanadhikarana has to be between this?
It has to be with one of them. No, see, you are talking about this and then you jump to this, it makes no sense. You have to say what that guna in whichever adhikarana it exists, in the same adhikarana you have satta bhinna jati, or satta bhinna jati in whichever adhikarana it exists, in that same adhikarana you have guna.
No, then
If you say both separately, then later you bring in adhikarana, what is the connecting between both? You have to go through this arrow somewhere.
okay. Then this word sama can be taken out and then said guna adhikarana, and then satta bhinna jati matva, something like samaniya tattvam, how we
You can,
okay.
possible, but this is a more concise and nice way of putting it.
Fine.
The idea is both of them are in the same adhikarana. To say that is all. That is all. You can say it in multiple other ways. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to say it this way. This is a very concise, nice manner of saying it. That's all. The idea has to be understood. If you are able to get a grammatically clear and concise definition in the same manner, possible. So this prithakva guna, it exists in rupam also. Similarly, it exists in rasa also when compared to rupam. Okay. So prithakva means separateness. The rasa is separate from rupa. Rupa is separate from rasa. So the separateness exists in color as well as taste. This ekam exists in the color as of now. Oneness exists in color. So basically ativyapti. There is an ativyapti in guna also. That is his charge over here. That is the next sentence. Nanu evamapi ekam rupam rasat prithak iti vyavaharat rupadau ativyaptihi iti chet. Okay. In this vyavahara, when we say this is normal sentence, this is how we use sentences, that one color is different from taste. It's a normal sentence we would use, nothing wrong with it. But there is an ativyapti in such a sentence, he says. If the opponent says like that, no, we do not accept such sentences as, yes, in vyavahara it is there, but that is not what is meant in Tarkika Bhasha. That does not work, because ekartha samavayadeva tadrisha vyavaharopa pattau. There is a concept called ekartha samavaya. This rupam when you say, or rasa when you say, or eka when you say, you cannot imagine any of these gunas without the associated dravya.
No, for this only we asked us to put samavaya till that
Correct.
point.
Yes.
Okay. But we didn't complete this.
We didn't complete this sentence because you have to know all the gunas, because 4 gunas come in this sentence, and you have to know what is samavaya also. That's why I went till there and came back. Okay. So these 4 gunas are there. Ekartha samavaya, the concept is, any of these gunas you cannot even imagine them without a associated dravya. Let us say red. How would you imagine red? Whatever you imagine, something in your mind will come. Some cloth will come, or some plate, some wall, anything. Anything that you associate red with wherever you have seen. Even when we learn colors in primary, it is there on a page. It is on dravya. On a particular page that color exists. Or they will show an apple and say it is red. Whatever it is associated with dravya. Guna does not exist in nothingness. It does not exist anywhere else actually. It exists only in dravya. Not in kriya, not in any other padartha. It exists only in dravya, this rupa. Similarly, with each of these gunas, rasa, if you think, any rasa that you can think of, any kind of taste, immediately when you think of a taste, you associate a particular object with it. Or you can be given a dravya and say, ask what is the taste. That is how you can. You cannot just ask what is the taste. Of what? It is associated inherently with some dravya. Similarly, this ekatva is also similar. Ekatva is not associated with rupa. It is associated with the dravya that you are talking about. Ekam rupam, when you say, let us say you are talking about this table. This ekam rupam, the color of this table, is different from the taste of the mango. Valid sentence. That is what this sentence can actually mean. If you...
You made a very cautious word when you said color of the table, but you put it as rupa. Generally, the word rupa, at least in colloquial Tamil or something when we talk, rupa generally refers to shape.
No, rupa refers only to color here.
Color.
Yes, definition is there later.
Okay.
And
okay.
Previous class also I have told, rupa is only color, nothing else.
But rupa doesn't mean shape.
No.
Generally we say rupa means...
No. Again, how do you get to know shape? Only by color.
So rupa inherently means color only.
Rupa is color only. Idea of rupa is only color. Across Samskrita, it is only color. The secondary meaning is shape. It is not a technical meaning also here that we are talking about. Rupa generally means color only. Then we have started using in other regional languages, we have started using the word Rupa for related terms. But for shape, it is Akara and some other words are there. But the word Swarupa is natural being. The originality of that substance is Swarupa. Swarupa. One's own Rupa. In all, again, many other ways, but you can say one's own color also is Swarupa. Very much possible. What is the Swarupa of the table? If you are brown, you say nothing wrong with that. Okay. That's all. So, Rupa means color only. So, here when you say Ekam Rupam, whenever somebody uses such a sentence, one color is different from taste or something, they are obviously referring to some object, some dravya. Neither can they imagine it without a dravya, nor will it make sense to you without you imagining a dravya, or both of you might have a shared sense of what you are talking about. Maybe you went to some place, then you saw color there and had some food there and came back. He said that Ekam Rupam Rasat Prathaka. It makes sense to you. So this Ekatva is not related to Rupa. It is related to the Dravya that he is talking about. So Ekatva does not exist in Rupam. So the Samavaya happens, rather Ekatva exists in Ghata, Rupa can exist in Ghata, Pruthaktva can exist in Ghata. So all this have Samavaya Sambandha with Ghata. The Samavaya Sambandha means they are inherently present in that Ghata. They have natural inherence with that Ghata. Oh, nothing. That is what this means. Okay. That is what he is saying here also. Ekartha Samavaya Deva. That their Artha means Ekadravya Samavaya Deva. They are all Samaveta in a single Dravya. They are all inherently present in whatever Dravya that he is talking about. And that he can differentiate from something else. The color of the pot is different from the taste of the mango or something like that. Even if he says the color of the pot is different from the taste of the pot, let us say the same thing. There also both of them are present in the pot. And that is what. And that Pruthaktva is also present in the pot. Even in that mango, if you say the yellow color of the mango is separate from the sweet taste of the mango, both are present in the mango. So the Dravya is the Adhikarana for that. You cannot, and therefore there is a axiomatic sentence that Gune Guna Anangikara. The Vaisheshikas do not accept one Guna in another Guna. You cannot have redness in sweetness. You cannot have sweetness in separateness. All this thing is not possible. One Guna in another Guna is not possible. You cannot say sweet sound is not possible. Sweetness cannot exist in sound. Sweet is a taste. How can it exist in sound?
Pleasant sound.
Pleasantness is a Guna. Both of them exist in a particular Dravya which is Akasha. Pleasantness exists in Akasha, then that sound exists there. Then that's why when both of them exist together, you call it a pleasant sound or whatever.
And the existence of this pleasantness, say in Akasha, and the sound in Akasha is through the Samavaya Sambandha.
Correct. Usually, in most cases, Guna is present in Dravya in Samavaya only. I don't know whether there are exceptions. I can't think of any immediately. But
why do we even need this Sambandha first of all? Why do you need to say that there is a Sambandha which is causing this? I remember having a discussion actually long back that it will go into infinite regression. What is this Samavaya Sambandha with another Sambandha?
Maybe we had that discussion, but 2-3 classes ago we discussed why Guna should be separate from Dravya.
No, that is clear.
Okay. Then what is the relationship between Guna and Dravya? That is the question that will come. Guna and Dravya are separate, you have accepted. But they both exist in the same Adhikarana there. You are seeing it there. Dravyatva is there. Gunatva is also there. Rather, Gunavatva is there in the Dravya. Then
why do we need to bring in a concept called Samavaya Sambandha? Can't we say that they are Aprathak?
If they are Aprathak, they become the same. Then how are you talking about this redness and then potness.
No, hibiscus,
No, if
red.
they are then instead of creation, then we don't have Guna. So
That's what. No, if they are aprithak, then there are no two things to talk about.
No,
Padartha
I'm
is
not
same.
saying in that way.
Ah,
I'm
then-
saying if I say red hibiscus,
Ah,
red color is different, hibiscus is different. I do agree.
correct. Then there should be a sambandha between them.
It is his paksha.
Whose paksha?
Nayayika's paksha.
Most paksha. I think all schools will agree to this.
But
In all Visheshana Vishesha Sambandha, you need this. Especially, you will see this in Vedanta Bhashyas also. Neelam Utpalam, if you say, wow, there is a Samanadhikaranam with that. The other, in Brahmasutra Bhashya, the first sutra, Acharya brings in, Bhagavad Pada brings in this. In Athato Brahma Jignasa itself, this discussion is there. Neelam Utpalam and all. There, some Guna Samanadhikarana, he talks about this. This has to be accepted in some way or the other. Maybe you can have different opinions, but there is some Sambandha you have to accept there. And Samaya makes the most sense, that's all. Or else you cannot. You have said there are two different Padarthas, and then you have to posit a relationship between them for it to be in the same Adhikarana. No?
the idea of Samavaya, is it Nayayikas or is it also Advaita?
That is a research question. I don't know. See, you cannot, probably you cannot posit something to only this school of thought or that school of thought. Everybody will come up, say maybe they agreed. And Nayayikas like to put things logically, they put it somewhere, that's all.
Samavaya Sambandha is both ways or only Guna has Samavaya Sambandha with
Oh, Guna is Samaveta in Dravya, that's all.
other ways?
Not the other way. The other way is not a thing. You might change the color of that by something, it still remains a ghata.
Yeah.
If you cook the ghata too much, it will become black in color. It still remains a ghata only. The mango can keep changing color from green to yellow to red to black, everything. And mango means he is smiling. So that way, the guna can keep changing. But whatever guna it is, there will be a samvaya sambandha. So therefore, this concept has to be understood that you cannot have one guna in another guna. And all these 24 gunas, whichever you take, you cannot say one of this guna is present in that guna. Each of this guna is present in the dravya only. Whichever dravya you might be talking about, it is present in the dravya, not in the guna. Okay. Till there we have come. Where is my mouse?
No, once can you read from first to
First to end, I will read.
for a revision. For a revision.
Yeah, I will read. And then you can also follow in the book or wherever you want. So now only we have completed Dravya. Second, we saw Padartha and then we have come to Dravya. Dravyani vibhajate tatreti. Tatra dravyadi madhye dravyani navaiva ityanvayaha. Kanitani ityataha prithiviti. Nanu tamaso dashamaddravyasya vidyamanatvat katham navaiva dravyani iti tathahi. Neelam tamaschalati ityabadhita pratiti balat neelarupadharataya kriyadharataya cha tamasodravyatvam tavat siddham. Tatra tamasaha na akashadi panchake antarbhavaha rupavatvat. Atayeva na vayau sparsha bhavat sada gatimatva bhavat cha napi tejasi bhaswara rupa bhavat ushna bhavat cha napi jale शीतस्पर्शा भावात् नीलरूपवत्वात् च नापि पृथिव्यां गन्धाभावात् स्पर्शरहितत्वात् च तस्मात् तमो दशमद्रव्यम् इति चेत् न तमसः तेजोभावरूपत्वात् तथा हि तमो न रूपिद्रव्यम् आलोक असहकृत चक्षुर्ग्राह्यत्वात् आलोकाभाववत् रूपिद्रव्य चाक्षुषप्रमायाम् आलोकस्य कारणत्वात् तस्मात् प्रौढ़ प्रकाशक तेजस सामान्याभावः तमः तत्र नीलं तमश्चलति इति प्रत्ययो भ्रमः इति तमोवादः अतो नवद्रव्याणि इति सिद्धम् द्रव्यत्वजातिमत्वं गुणवत्वं वा द्रव्यसामान्यलक्षणम् इदानीं लक्षणलक्षणम् आरभ्यते लक्ष्यैकदेश आवृत्तित्वम् अव्याप्तिः यथा गौः कपिलत्वम् अलक्ष्ये लक्षणस्य वर्तनम् अतिव्याप्तिः यथा गोः शृङ्गित्वम् लक्ष्यमात्र आवृत्तित्वम् असम्भवः यथा गोः एकशफवत्वम् एतद्दूषणत्रयरहितो धर्मः लक्षणम् स एव असाधारणधर्म इत्युच्यते लक्ष्यतावच्छेदक समनयतत्वम् असाधारणत्वम् व्यावर्तकस्यैव लक्षणत्वे व्यावृत्तौ अभिधेयत्वादौ च अतिव्याप्तिः अतस्तद्वारणाय तद्भिन्नत्वं धर्मविशेषणं देयम् व्यवहारस्यापि लक्षणप्रयोजनत्वे तन्न देयम् व्यावृत्तेः अपि व्यवहारसाधनत्वात् इति लक्षणलक्षणं समाप्तम् ननु गुणवत्वं न द्रव्यलक्षणम् आद्यक्षणावच्छिन्न घटे उत्पन्न विनष्ट घटे च अव्याप्तेः इति चेत् न गुणसमानाधिकरण सत्ताभिन्न जातिमत्वस्य विवक्षितत्वात् ननु एवमपि एकं रूपं रसात् पृथक् इति व्यवहारात् रूपादौ अतिव्याप्तिरिति चेत् न एकार्थसमवायादेव तादृशव्यवहारोपपत्तौ गुणे गुण अनङ्गीकारात्. So a lot of concepts in this, almost like a 3-4 classes. More than dense, it is laying the foundation for the Grantha as a whole and many other concepts. One is Tamovada. Tamovada was like Mangalavada, there was a Tamovada. That was simple to understand. But then comes the Lakshana, which is very important. And then applying that Lakshana immediately to Dravya Lakshana and seeing how you can postulate Purvapaksha and Siddhanta. Both Abhyapti and Itivyapti charges he applied on the Dravya Lakshanam. He gave the Dravya Lakshanam here, no, where? The beginning itself. Here, that's what. Before the Lakshanam, he gave it. So, Dravyatva Jatimatvam, Gunavatvam va, he gave the Dravya Lakshanam here. Then he defined what is Lakshanam. And in the Lakshanam, whatever was defined, that Abhyapti and Itivyapti,
first he defined the Avyapti, Ativyapti, Asambhava.
That is Parasad, that is Lakshana. The whole, this whole, starting from here to here is Lakshana. Okay. For Lakshaika Desha Vatitvam to Vyavahara Sadhanatvad is Lakshanam. This Lakshanam, as soon as he defined, then he used it on this Gunavatvam itself. On whatever he defined previously, he used it there and he said, there is Avyapti, there is Ativyapti. No, both are not there. This is a good definition only. And he implied that definition. That was the flow of this whole paragraph. Okay. Now, till now it is clear, I hope. After this, for some time, there will be quite easily, we will go forward. Okay. We should, hopefully. Guna we have already seen. Anyway, read the 24 gunas again so that we understand the 24. Rupa rasagandha sparsha sankhya parimana prithakva sanyoga vibhaga paratva gurutva dravatva sneha shabda buddhi sukha dukhe chadvesha prayatna dharma samskaras chaturvimshatir gunaha. 24 gunas. Now we'll come to the Deepika part of it. We didn't see the Deepika last time when we went through, so we will see the Deepika. Gunan vibhajate rupeti. Now he is classifying the gunas. The 24 gunas are being classified. The 24 different names have been given there. Definitions of each of these 24 will come later when he deals with that. Okay. Now he is trying to define what guna itself is. Lakshana for guna should be given here now. He is giving Lakshana. Dravya karma bhinnatve sati samanyavan gunaha. Very simple definition he gave. Very similar to this definition. We have already seen. Satta jati is there. Dravya karma bhinnatve sati samanyavan. This is samanya. That samanya which is different from kriyatva and dravyatva. The one that has that is guna. Simple. Dravya karma bhinnatve sati samanyavan. That which is different from dravya and karma but has samanya, that is guna. That is definition number 1. Second definition, gunatva jatiman va. That which has gunatva as its jati. So, gunatva jati, wherever is present, that is guna.
So they have none
Vyatireka and this thing. Yes. This is a simple, gunatva jatiman is a very simple definition. That's all. Gunatva jati. Other.
Dravya and karma are two different classes.
Yeah. But all three together have the satta jati, samanya. The only thing that holds dravya karma guna together is samanya.
So you remove guna outside and say these three will have common in guna.
Huh? commonality that is present only in these three: Dravya, Karma, Guna. In our four Padartha, 7 Padartha, there is a Padartha called Samanya. That Samanya Padartha is present only in these three. He is using that to make this definition that Samanya is present, but it is different from Dravya and Karma. That is Guna. You can define Dravya and Karma also similarly. Guna Karma Bhinnatve Sati Samanyavan Samanyavat Dravyam. You can say.
It's like saying Abhava in that set of Samanya from Guna and from Dravya and Karma is.
Yeah, you can say, yeah, in a certain sense it's Abhava, but yeah, difference. Anyonya Bhava kind of thing. Yes. That's all. Very simple. No, again, there's a Purva Bhaksha. Say a very simple Purva Bhaksha. You have listed 24 gunas. I can postulate a few other gunas also. Why don't you include them also? Why only 24? Why are you keeping it to only 24? Why not some more or some less, etc.? Laghutva, Kathinatva, Mridutva Adinam Vidyamanatvat. Laghutva means weightlessness. Something is very light. Light is Laghu. Heavy is Guru. Okay. So Laghutva. You have said Gurutva, but you have not given Laghutva. So Laghutva is another guna. Kathinatva is another guna. Kathinatva means something is very hard. A stone is very hard. Kathina. Mridu is soft. A sponge or skin is soft. Mridutva. So like this I can postulate a set of gunas. Laghutva, Kathinatva, Mridutva, Adinam. Like this I can postulate. Vidyamanatva, these are there. Why Katham Chaturvimshati gunaha? How can you say there are only 24 gunas iti chet? No, that is not the case. Laghutvasya Gurutva Bhava Rupatvat. Laghutva, lightness means that weight is lesser. Gurutva Abhava, that's all. It is not more heavy, so it is a scale of heaviness only. So you cannot postulate that separately. Laghutva is Gurutva only. Abhava Rupatvat. Done. Mridutva Kathinatva Yoho. You said Mridutva and Kathinatva are different gunas. No. It is only Avayava Samyoga Vishesha. We have already had Samyoga as a guna. Samyoga is two things coming together. When you touch something, there is a Samyoga between your hand and that object. And then you say it is Mridu or Kathina. One of the things you might say depending on that Samyoga Vishesha. That is one of the classification. You can have Samyoga as the guna. Under that you can have multiple classification. Kathinatva, Mridutva, all this you can have.
Samyoga is
One guna.
what is the
Samyoga is two things coming together.
Speaking with the process, how is the guna? If two things coming together means isn't it a process?
Why? What do you mean by guna? Why are you already defining guna? Samyoga is a guna, that's all.
Okay.
You have not defined guna, no? So what if it's a process?
Okay, so they are putting a process kind of thing inside
Inside,
a word called guna, and I have to. Okay.
You have to make sense of that word now.
Okay. Now one more thing.
Basically, where is that Samyoga present when you ask where will you say it is present? You say process, W. Where is that process present?
On Dravya.
On some Dravya. Whatever is present on Dravya is guna only. Process means it involves an action also.
Right.
That action is present in karma. That is also inherent in Dravya only.
No, then why not Samyoga?
So there is something called Samyoga and there is something called karma. Both together is what you are assuming as Samyoga.
Okay.
You are thinking this action of this coming here is also Samyoga. No. This is Samyoga.
Okay.
That action of coming is Kriya.
Kriya.
Ah.
Okay. Now got it. And
Whichever
one
it is.
more thing. Now you told that this Gurutva Abhava is Lagutva. Why not I take it that for Sukha and Dukkha? Because Sukha and Dukkha also
Is Sukha Bhava Dukkha?
some Sukha Abhava Dukkha. Okay. Okay.
That's all.
For the same in some Sanyoga and Vibhava.
You can have Sukha and Dukkha at the same time also.
Someone is feeding me this thing and eating chocolate.
Correct. Exactly. You're sitting on a hot stove and eating chocolate. You can have. So many. No. In general life itself, we have as experience Sukha and Dukkha together. No. Let us say you receive semester end marks are coming. One you got S grade, the other you got F grade. Sukha and Dukkha both are there. I don't know. Correct. Huh? Which one? Paratva, Aparatva, both are there. That we will see. Paratva, Aparatva can come not only for Samyoga. We will see that in Samanya also. Not Samanya exactly, where you will understand later. When we see examples, you will understand. Paratva, Paratva again is present in the Dravya only.
For this, I would say Lagutva, when we say, we are comparing with some other object and then only we can say Lagutva. Just to given an object, say I take this phone. Is it Lagu or Guru means I need a comparison to say it's Lagu then my tablet, but it is Guru then my pen or something like this I can say.
Correct.
Similarly, the Sukha and Dukha also I need a reference point.
Not really. Do you actually need a reference point for Sukha Dukha? That will go into Vedanta philosophy, but you will know. They see a person who is born without no reference also they understand Sukha Dukha, no? And it is not the same reference for everyone. At least Gurutva, this thing is same reference for everyone. But Sukha Dukha reference points also change. And it is an Anubhava. Huh? It is not. Sukha Dukha is not yet defined also. There we can discuss more about it. Very simple. Sukha Dukha is direct Anubhava. So what if it is different for everybody? Maybe a gulab jamun for you is Sukha, for me is Dukha. It doesn't matter. Sukha is also, that's why it's a guna for that Dravya. Whatever. We'll see. Which Dravya? That we have not seen. Not for the gulab jamun Dravya. There is no Sukha or Dukha for the gulab jamun. Sukha and Dukha are gunas for the Atma. Atma is the Dravya there. Okay. So for that Atma, that Sukha is different. This is easily possible. Actually, starting from Buddhi, all these are Atma's gunas. That's all. He has written it in a particular, very useful order. He has written the whole thing that you will understand when we come to the order and see the definitions.
Same thing is for Dharma, Adharma also. The recent Adharma, Dharmasya.
No, it is not. No. Adharma is not. If you simply sit, are you performing Dharma or Adharma? Neither. Not performing Dharma is not Adharma. Not performing Adharma is not Dharma. So, it is not Abhava Rupa. Only those which are not Abhava Rupas are given here. How Prayatna? It is a guna of Atma. Some effort that is needed. To perform Dharma, some effort is needed.
I was thinking to pull something will it go to 25 or 23?
Here, obviously, you cannot pull. At least with the amount of knowledge we have, we cannot postulate anything more. Hey, you can delve deeper, understand more Tarka, then you can hopefully try something else. But with the overview reading that we are doing, surely we cannot break this logic. 2000 years they have been debating and come up with a set of 24. You are not going to put a new one immediately. At least 10 years you spend reading a few granthas, then you might be able to come up with one Avyapti, Adivyapti somewhere and then pull somebody's leg. Then you go directly to Kanada and pull his leg. That's where we are. So simple. Deepika is also done. We saw the classification of karma. Utkshepana, apakshepana, akunchana, prasarana, gamanani, panchakarmani. Aite. Avayava samyoga visheshatvad. That's all. It's an avayava samyoga vishesha. Vishesha means one of the. It is part of avayava samyoga. It's a part of samyoga. That's what he meant. Then karma vibhajate. Now classifying karma into 5. Utkshepanayati. Samyoga bhinnatve sati. Samyoga asamavayi karanam karma. Karmatva jati madhva. Okay. There is something called samavayi karana and asamavayi karana. Okay. Samavayi, for example, in this guna, for the guna of the pot was samavayi karana. Samavaya means same, related to samavaya, samaveta, that which is inherent. That which is not inherent is asamavayi karana. So when I push this table, okay, let us say, I am different object, I am a different dravya. There is no samavaya sambandha between me and the table, but I am pushing the table and table is getting karma now. The movement of the table is a karma quality that is present in the table, but how is it being produced? Not by the table or something present inherently in the table. It is being induced by something outside of it. There is some other force that is coming. So that is called as asamavayi karana. It is not samaveta in that. That karana, whatever is there, is not samaveta in that object itself, but it is an asamavayi karana. That is one part of the set. Samyoga asamavayi karana. Samyoga bhinnatve sati samyoga asamavayi karana. If you just say samyoga asamavayi karanam, then the definition will over apply to samyoga also. There is a, okay, let us rub it out and write it here. This is always called, when you have any lakshana, okay, there is called dalakritya. There are multiple parts to the definition. Why is each part necessary is called as dalakritya. There are separate phrases for the definition. So one part to the definition here is samyoga bhinnatve. Bhinnatve sati. The other is Sanyoga Asamavayi Karanam. Samyoga Asamavayi Karanam. This Asamavayi Karanam part we have seen now. Okay. What is Asamavayi Karanam? You understood Samavayi Karanam, you understood the example. When the redness of the pot is due to the pot itself. So there, pot is the samavayi karanam for the redness of the pot or blackness of the pot, whichever. But the movement of the pot is not due to pot or something. It is some other karana, some external thing that is coming. That is asamavayi karanam. Okay. Asamavayi karanam of what? Of samyoga. Whenever there is a karma, there is some samyoga that is happening. Whatever karma you take. You know, basically these 5 karmas. We have seen already. Why he has said 5 karmas? Karma is basically some kind of movement. Whenever a movement happens, there is samyoga. When this is happening, there is samyoga with Vayu. From this samyoga to this samyoga, it goes. Different samyoga. Samyoga keeps on happening. So it is always samyogasya karanam. But it is samyogasya asamavayi karanam. What is the samyoga samavayi karanam? The dravya itself is samyogasya samavayi karanam. This, if this pen goes and touches this samyoga, the samavayi karanam is this table and this pen is the samavayi karanam for the samyoga between these two. If the pen and table are in samyoga, the samavayi karanam is the table itself and the pen itself. The asamavayi karanam is the karma that was there, that happened. Okay. So samyogasya asamavayi karanam. But this samyogasya asamavayi karanam is not enough. Because the samyoga is also an asamavayi karanam for that. Not only karma, whatever samyoga I am talking about, that samyoga is also asamavayi karanam for the samyoga. Let us say, see, at each point there is a samyoga. Every kshana there is a samyoga.
When you bring the pen from here to here, okay.
From a print, at every point here there is samyoga between pen and air around or pen and hand, etc. Then at every point there is a samyoga. So that samyoga is also the karana for this final samyoga.
Okay, the previous samyoga
is a
pen and air is the
karana for the next samyoga.
Pen and table.
Correct. Okay.
So when I move, we can say samyoga is between me and earth, when I'm walking or something.
Correct.
Then,
yes.
But if earth is moving, then where is as a whole, if it's moving in space, then what is the samyoga?
What is the asamavayi karanam for that? You have to find the asamavayi karanam for that. Oh, you are saying where is the samyoga? You are saying samyoga is between akasha and prithvi. Dravya has to be present somewhere. Okay, akasha and prithvi there is samyoga. So if we said only samyoga asamavayi karanam, okay, then even samyoga will come under the definition. Karma is one part of it. Even samyoga will be defined. Therefore, he has to say samyoga bhinnatve.
Samyoga, which was a guna previously defined in the previous sutra,
that samyoga only.
That also will apply to this same definition. Samyoga
correct.
Will
apply to both. Only this phrase, if you take, it will apply to karma as well as samyoga. Okay. Karma as well as samyoga.
So, here it is ativyapti.
Ativyapti, exactly. There is an ativyapti dosha if only this phrase were used.
But one thing is not how is this Samyoga having that definition still agreed?
How is this Samyoga?
Because Samyoga, Samavaya.
Okay, let us say, not even this way. If I have Samyoga here, do I have Samyoga with laptop or not? My hand is touching the table. Is there a Samyoga with the laptop or not? There is Samyoga, then Samyoga. Okay.
Okay.
So, this is called Samyukta Samyoga.
Okay.
So, for my hand to have the Sanyukta Sanyoga, what was the Karana? This first Sanyoga was the Karana for this Sanyukta Sanyoga. Correct. So, this Samyoga, the Samyoga between my hand and the table, which is the cause for the Samyoga, the double Samyoga between my hand and the laptop. Correct.
Recursive function kind of.
So, Samyoga can keep on going. Samyoga is a natural. So, the Samyoga between my hand and the table was the Asamavai Karanam for the Sanyukta Samyoga between my hand and the laptop.
Okay, got it.
Now it can over apply. The previous example was more difficult or confusing also, but this is a very clear example. So it can over apply to Samyoga also. Therefore, Samyoga Bhinnatve Sati Asama Samyoga.
But is it not its Sadharan Karan, like for moving any object? Samyoga has to be there. So
Yeah, correct. It is a Sadharana. We are not saying it is a Sadharana Karana or anything. Here we are not talking about a Sadharana Karana. Yes, it is Sadharana Karana. No problem. But we want to define karma, that's all. So, when you are trying to define only with this, Sadharana Karana also falling inside. So, you say it is different from that Sadharana Karana. Samyoga Bhinnatve Sati Sanyoga Asamvai Karanam Karma. Got it? Understood? Where were we? Here on. Samyoga Asamvai Karanam Karma. Or, second definition, Karmatva Jati Madhva. That which has Karmatva as its Jati. Simple. Next. Now, the Purvapaksha is simple, very simple. Brahmanadi namapi gamane antarbhavat na panchatva virodha. What if you start?
Bhinnam is what when we saw in the Dravya Tilakshana, that is he is adding Samyoga Bhinnatve.
Correct.
Then like that.
Yes. That is a very important principle. There we just saw some humor, but it is also a very important principle that to clearly define, you have to say, give a definition. You cannot always sometimes define something by just giving it Swarupa. You have to always also say what it is not. What you are not saying. That's what Bhinna means basically. I am not talking about this, I am talking only about this. Then your Lakshana is complete. So what about rotation, circulation, all this if you ask, all that is included in Gamana itself. That is the objection and reply also.
in the previous point, when he is told that Samyoga Asadharan,
Samyoga Asamavai Karanam. Not Asadharana, Asamavai only. Okay. Again, if you read these notes 18 and 19 in the back of the book, it will be very clear. Nice notes Swami has given. So this will be very useful. Because this reply especially, that why even have 5, you can have only Gamanas, Karma only, that is there in other books, not here. Then at the end, Final Siddhanta is kind of saying, see, the Rishi has given 5. You have hold 5, doesn't matter. You hold 5 or 3 or 1 also, it doesn't hold. This is the definition of karma, that's all. Your Lakshana is holds. How you classify is left to you. The Rishi in his sutra, he classified as 5, so they are holding it as 5. However you want to classify, you classify. No? As far as the Lakshanam holds, it holds. That's all the point is.
This definition you mentioned about it's appropriate when if you read the constitution over there. How they define Hindus?
How they define Hindus?
Those who are not.
Those who are not any of this. Yeah, that's how it is in our constitution. That's correct. In many places we use that definition by elimination. Correct. Definition by elimination. You define a set of things, and then to whatever is remaining is this. That's all. Like that. Then we will pause here. Okay. For today we will pause here. We have Samanya. Hopefully we'll finish with Abhava next class and move on to Prithvi. From here on, for some time, it is little easy. When we go to Vayu and Akasha, next difficulties will come. Okay. Just read those notes behind, it will be very nice. You will get, because he has given that context in a lot of places. So you can read till note 19 now. From 1 to 19, if you read, you will get a whole idea of what we have been. निधाय हृदि विश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवंदनं बालानां सुखबोधाय क्रियते तर्कसंग्रहः विश्वेश्वरं सांबमूर्तिं प्रणिपत्य गिरां गुरुं टीकां शिशुहितां कुर्वे तर्कसंग्रहदीपिकाम्